Let me know when you're recording, and I will start.
Music.
Oh, shit. Can't forget the music.
Hey.
This is all gonna be on. This is all gonna be on tape. By the
Now
way.
recording.
Hello, Craig.
Evie did not like the Craig noise.
Don't know him. He has no soul.
I need, I need some of this.
Yeah, that's about right.
Try this out.
I like that song.
Um,
Looking for a song. Post meme about Aerith.
It is a pretty good meme, in fairness.
no, too horror-y. I'm trying to find some tension music, because right now you're in a little bit of a pickle.
A little bit of a pickle.
A pickle.
Just a little one.
If you're going with
The
Final
situation turned into a pickle. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
If you're sticking with the Final Fantasy IX, Branny's theme.
It's a rise. What?
What'd you say, Stuart?
Branny's theme.
Spell it.
From Final Fantasy IX. Branhe. It has it. Fuck.
That's a little too mysterious. Actually, let me check this one out real quick.
We could always go back to Death Grips remixes.
No.
No,
Wait,
Eric,
oh,
we
wait,
need
oh,
to go.
Close. It's dun 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 bum 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 but.
Highly professional acapella cover.
Thank you, thank you. The amount of work that went into those is actually a little crazy. I'm slightly impressed by Drunk Eric. Like, I pulled up the Audacity projects that they were uploaded from. There's like 6 tracks on each one.
Oh.
And like they're synced up. Maybe I should get drunk more often.
Be context, and maybe you should be sober less.
the meme where like it's the dude tapping his head. Oh,
Okay.
the baby wants pets.
I found something, I think.
The baby. Okay, we can start.
Oh
Perfect.
boy.
In the most expected of places.
This is Skyrim. I'm gonna hit you over the head with a chair.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
You also appear to be being kicked to Roll20.
I do?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
you're not here.
Indeed.
Well, I'll jump back in after this.
After these
Play.
quick messages. Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with mesothelioma? If so, you may be entitled to some financial compensation.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Okay. Here we go.
We're not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. We just like the game.
What? What just, huh?
This tension music is brought to you by Conflict Desert Storm for the Xbox.
America.
So
That's not bad.
yeah, it services.
So I believe the point of view was Raw coming back from shopping.
So you were coming back from shopping. As you did, you noticed the traffic of the local good boys of the law force were moving into the shipping yard. And it seems like they were kind of moving en masse.
En
Um,
masse.
En masse. I want to be fancy. Shut up.
En masse.
En masse.
En masse.
En masse.
Namaste.
Okay, okay. Don't allow. Okay, good, great. Um. So, you see a few patrols, and they're kind of moving in. They're all moving in formation. They're led by their chiefs and stuff, or their squad captains. You're kind of keeping a low profile, though, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah. I like to imagine Ra's like behind some boxes in an alleyway, just peeking out from over the edge, just being like, "Oh no!" He's frantically looking at the eye symbol, making sure it's still closed in the center of his screen.
Todd Howard
I-
shows up behind you too, posing. He says,
Sneak attack critical for 6 times damage, and Ra immediately dies.
he says, Omewa mo Skyrim.
Nani?
And you just now have a copy of Skyrim. Okay, anyway.
I can't be a warrior right anymore. Why not? He's too busy playing this new Skyrim thing.
How much gil can I get for that?
For what?
Okay, so I'm gonna roll perception to see like, it's the police force primarily moving about.
Yep.
Do I see anybody else on the like warehouse docks?
You see a few of the citizenry, like the shipmen and the, porters and stuff. Now, Artengale is not typically a tyrannical city, except for its big ol' prohibition in worshiping the god Ramu. Outside of that, but they are kind of these bystanders are kind of curious about what's up. Why are there all these police here? Are they gonna bust up something? Is something going down?
Do I recognize anybody from inside the warehouse?
What's your perception check?
Bum, 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 bum. 15.
15. Nobody out in the open, no.
Okay. Rob purses his lips. And he's going to... He's going to use a 4th level spell to cast Sending
Okay.
on Surge.
All right, so you tuck back into a little nook, and you start to whisper into your hand as like magic coalesces into it. What do you say?
So I want to look at what direction the police are moving in. Like in relation to the warehouse that Surge is in. Like, are they approaching, like, so they're moving on the warehouse docks, right? Are they getting closer to or further away from the warehouse that I'm concerned with?
Seems like they are moving in, and it seems like they're spreading out to flank it.
Okay.
Looks like they're going to make an attempt to surround the building. while he's doing this, let's see. Artemis, Smith, and TP are still in the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What were you doing last time?
Oh, we were just kind of. I think we were mainly like either coalesce. I think we were mainly coalescing, and then after coalescing, trying to plan out the next, trying to like plan out a next move or such.
Oh right, Artemis had brought the bird back, and she was waiting for Ra to
Yep.
come back.
Oh right, that too.
Are Ra and Artemis together in the alleyway then?
No, Artemis got back before you.
Okay.
Uh,
So the message back to Surge is, police have located the hideout, they've mobilized and are currently flanking. I'm on the outside, I can possibly serve as distraction if you need me to.
you get this back.
Wow, the song has like a 20-second loop.
I know.
But it does work.
Mm-hmm.
And part of how like high tension songs work, isn't it? Like it's a shorter song on a song on a shorter loop to really intensify the feeling.
Alright, and Ra's gonna wait for a signal. He's just gonna hole up where he is.
So back at the hideout.
He's actually, I'm gonna summon a spiritual weapon.
Okay. What shape do you want the weapon to take?
It looks like Ifrit's weapon.
All right. So because you're attuned to the play of fire, you
I'm actually
conjure...
attuned to the plane of lightning right now, but it still looks like
Oh.
Ifrit's weapon.
Okay. So it looks like a Freet's weapon, but it's weirdly cracking with lightning instead of fire.
Don't you have a Freight's weapon?
He has a rapier that a Freet just...
Blessed.
Not
He can't
proficient
use
in
in it.
properly.
You okay?
No!
Yeah.
No, he's
All right. So Eric's got the
Jeez.
Rona.
Oh, I've got the pepperoni. It's just way too much of
I
way
didn't
too
mean it.
high temperature tea. It's too good. I love it too much. All right, so I've got the spiritual weapon, and I'm gonna wait for a signal.
All
That's
right. Artemis, Myth, Teepee, the first thing you hear is a sudden rush of footsteps, and you see Surge peek into wherever room you guys are keeping yourselves, and he says, I have bad news. It seems like we've been found out. We will need to move.
Well, that's dashing.
fuck, Koopa. So,
This is her cleric sheet, frick.
yep,
We have,
gotta pull up my sheet.
All right then. What's your plan for getting out of here?
We have a network of underground tunnels that we can take. Hopefully those won't be headed off, but it's our best bet. I doubt that we'll be making out here on the street level.
Okay, next concern. Is it big enough for the bird, Koopa?
It would be a bit cramped. These tunnels are very small. If the bird must go, I insist that the bird has to bring up our rear.
Emotional support, Chocobo. Ra would be devastated without him.
Can't you shrink the bird in some way or form?
I but I don't think Quetzal would like it. Unfortunately, doing so may cause him to run off.
I think being captured for the third time would displease him slightly more.
I'll try to. If it,
Also, your druids, can't you just talk to the bird?
yes. I was about to. I was about to. Mm, Regardless, I recommend myself bringing. Hey, TP. Happen to do you happen to know that spell that creates a barrier of shadows around you?
Nope. Not one I chose to take.
All right, then I I do. So it may be better best for me to stay near the middle of the group. Hmm. And I suppose I would attempt to speak with Quetzal as to what we must do.
Wonder what all he has to say about us. I hope it's nothing bad.
Not going into a lengthy interview if at all possible. Right. Meanwhile, I may be able to slow them down a little.
Sergio looks upon you curiously. He seems a bit antsy. He's ready to make his move, but he's willing to hear you out on whatever plan you have.
I presume it's safe enough to suppose that they're aware of your status as they descend upon this place, yes? I believe they're descending upon a nest of Ramu worshippers.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Artemis is asking if he thinks that they are aware that they are descending upon a nest of Ramu worshippers.
I imagine that's what they're here for.
Excellent. And how about we put the fear of God in them?
Now that I can do too.
He raises his eyebrows and he seems even more intrigued. He's kind of liking the put the fear of God in them part of this plan, at least.
Hmm. All right. While they're doing that, I guess I'll cast Speak
What are
with
your
Animal.
What are your personal capabilities? Do you have any lightning type spells?
Well, I don't mean to brag, but he brings his offhand up and he snaps his fingers, and as he does, a jolt of lightning shoots from them and bounces across the ceiling before cascading off. I have a bit of magical power that my faith affords me.
Excellent. Well then, let's go put on a little show for them, shall we?
All right. So while they're doing that, I'm gonna cast Speak to. While they're doing that, chatting that way, I'm gonna cast with Animals and see. How does that look? Unless you want me to make something up.
Speaking with animals, all right. So you approach you approach Quetzal, and Quetzal looks at you curiously, tilts its head a little bit. You bring your hands up and you kind of cup its cheeks. You close your eyes and you channel the magic. And basically you form kind of like a psionic link between you and the chocobo if you're doing this. What do you say?
Hello, Hello, Quetzal. Can you understand me?
Uh,
Oh, this is the spell for the record. Just
uh, Quetzal chirps, and I can't really speak bird or with a bird sounding accent, but uh, um, Quetzal is basically like, you, Miss Lady?
ah, yes, yes. I was I assume that he remembers me feeding him berries earlier.
You berry lady? You have berries?
Hmm, I can make some more.
Quetzal flaps excitedly at the prospect of more berries.
Good berries. Ah, uh, there's something I need to tell you though. There's some more bad people coming to try and catch us, and we're trying to move away from them. We might have to go through somewhere very small and very uncomfortable before we to get away from them.
Quetzal tilts his head again, and he says, "Where Master at?"
Oh my god.
Oh,
He calls him Master.
Master.
Which is the last thing that. Ooh, thank you.
Okay, I turned to QTP at that. Do you happen to know where Ra is?
All right, fine. Where Papa at? Are you happy with that?
Papa! I love Papa!
Congratulations, you just melted
Aw.
Eric's heart.
Ra just waves his face with both hands and looks frantically from left to right. I'm a dad!
Happen to know where Ra is? Anyone?
Phoebe wants to call down lightning. He wasn't gonna miss this chance to fuck with some druid powers.
Can I intuit that it was Ra who casted sending? Yes.
I don't think
Just let
Serge
us-
brought up that he was contacted by anyone.
Oh, okay, yeah. So.
I think this is the classic instance of lie to the child to get them to follow you, even if it turns out to not be for the best in the end.
Okay, so Miss. Wait here for a moment, Quetzal. Okay, Miss gonna go stick her head up stairs and just like, hey, where's. And ask, where's Ra? It is Ra. Actually, now that she thinks about it, it's probably. Where is he? Like.
He had just gone shopping, so he was coming back.
No,
from that.
like, okay, yeah. Like, she knows he went out to go shopping, but like, she knows, but like, he's affiliated with this group, so she's kind of worried that he might have gotten himself into some sort of trouble in that instant, that way. So, like, wait, where is he?
He's not, as far as you know, he's out shopping.
Hey, everyone, where? Hey. Never mind.
So you're like, everyone, and then you're like, never mind.
No, hey. Oh, actually, rather it was more like anyone, and then I assumed that no, everyone is too busy. He looked like preparing to leave, roll out, to pay attention to me. So Myth was just like, whatever.
So while Ra is waiting, he's going to change into the robes he bought for Artemis.
Okay.
And he's going to put the hat on. And he's going to thickly wrap some of the cloth from his Shadowhunter clothes around his face.
All right.
So he looks absolutely ridiculous. I'll remind you that he's wearing a giant top hat with some black wizard robes and a fully obscured face. He just wants to be unrecognizable.
He's basically doing fashion born.
Yeah, I guess he is.
All right, so you're all dressed up, fashion born. What do you do?
Oh, he's still waiting for the signal. I just wanted to establish that prior to
Okay.
the
so
action
that-
happening.
All right.
I think we're about to have another was that the signal moment here.
Alright, so Myth goes down to Quetzal and says, Ra will be coming along shortly.
Papa coming soon.
Yes? I think.
We go.
We go.
We go.
first.
We go. We go. We go. The chocobo kind of like prances restlessly in place, but they seem like they're on board to go.
Going.
Alright. Alright, so then for the record, squid animals is not a concentration, so. Yep, I guess I'll cast Pass Without Trace again, and then, like when the group is ready to, like, leave, I'll be at them, I'll cast it, and, like, have everyone be within this effect.
It's everyone within 30 feet of you.
Each creature you choose within 30 feet of you, including yourself.
Pass Without a Trace is fucking bomb.
Hold on. Mathematically, a 30-foot radius, that's 6 squares away from your space. 6 squares in every direction with 9 directions is 35 people.
Yep.
How many people are in the warehouse?
Less than 35.
Oh my god.
A bit more if you consider that some people may be, you know, on the rafters in the second level in the basement.
In total, this cult doesn't number very many. I mean, reminder that when the big old ban happened, a lot of people either gave up
Were
their faith
exiled,
or
yeah.
were exiled. It's not many people that have like elected to stick around in a place that's so church bad.
Alright, what's Artemis doing? Artemis and Surge. And Teepee, I guess.
Okay. So, when they approach the outside of the... They approach the outside. I'm going to put on a little show for them. I am going to send out, and Artemis is going to use Minor Illusion to make a slightly shorter version of herself.
Okay.
I will send this out. More than likely, it's going to be filled, just riddled with bullets. And at that point, I'm going to trigger a bigger one.
Serge is kind of nodding along. Seems to understand the basic concept of what you're trying to do here.
If they want to meet Ramu worshippers, why not have them meet Ramu instead?
And that's when I call down the thunder. Koopa.
So, a lot of smoke and mirrors then.
We need to fill this place with as much lightning as possible in order to make it seem realistic. Now, the illusion cannot physically create lightning to damage them, but it can give very good impression, which we will support with our own lightning spells.
Well, I will lend
it's
this.
also going to be 20 feet tall, so if they don't run screaming, possibly because they've had a heart attack.
Surge, he raises his staff and says, well, sound as plain as any, and if it'll cause distraction to get my followers, or get my flock to safety, so be it.
And of course, if any of them manage to get back, well, that's going to raise a few questions as to the structural security of Ramu's prison.
Oh, well, you kind of sold Serge on the idea. He says, I'm going to round up everyone and get them prepared for escape. Do what you need to do. They'll be upon us soon, though, so we should act quick.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be ready.
Alright, so Serge scrambles off to basically get his followers rounded up. Among them is the blonde-haired adolescent that Myth and TP are familiar with. And he says to him, because I have mine. He says, Lewitz, I leave them in your care. Lewitz, he gives Serge a nod, pretty firm one, thumbs up. He says, don't worry, well, I'll be careful. And with that, Serge turns to make ready. So, on the outside, Ra, you see that the police raid squad has all gotten into, basically pretty much they've gotten into formation. They have like 3 different flanking avenues that they've set up for. They haven't noticed you yet. Their focus is mostly on the building. Among them, there are officers with melee weapons like swords and spears. There's others with bow guns, and there's like 2 or 3 mages among them.
Can I get like a count of how many estimate could be like in front of me?
Squadron in front of you seems to consist of 11 foot soldiers, yeah, 11 foot soldiers with melee weapons, 9 bow gun users, and 7 mages.
And that's all of them?
From what you can see.
Alright. I'm gonna...
You can kind of pick out the mages pretty obviously because they're wearing like more robe-like uniforms than the armor padding that the soldiers wear.
Interesting.
They also seem to be more decorated than the foot soldiers. Just a little bit more. So
Is
they
there
might be
one
higher.
is there one that's like close?
Uh,
Huh?
Sorry, my sound cut out for a moment.
Okay.
Let's see. You're ducked in an alleyway
Behind a couple boxes.
behind a couple of boxes. I would say the nearest one would be about I would say about beyond 20 feet away from you.
Okay. I'm chilling then.
One of the captains steps forward. Steps forward with a mage, kind of like seems to be this captain's right-hand man. The mage begins to cast an enchantment on him, and the captain starts to speak with a voice that's like booming louder than it should be, and he says, Children of Ramu, We know that you're in there, and we know that you are conducting unauthorized rituals that profane our good city. I ask you that you step out quietly, lay down your arms, and surrender. You have, at the count of 5 minutes, to reply before we storm your place and take what actions are necessary to subdue this blight upon our city. Bystanders have definitely taken notice by this point. They've started to surround or form kind of like an outer surrounding as they watch this organized police force flank the building, all in formation. You guys hear this quite clearly from within the warehouse. The voice reverberates through the walls.
Ra's gonna try and pick out from the bystanders. Can he see the noblewoman that he drew the portrait of?
You do not see her.
Okay.
Probably because she doesn't hang out around the shipping yard at all.
That's fair, just curious.
Alright, so you guys inside the building hear this.
Oh, come on, hurry up. Hurry up, everyone.
That's generous, people.
Alright, so Lewitz and Myth are basically spearheading the attempt to flee through the underground tunnels.
Hmm.
If that's the plan, right?
Yep.
Alright. So Lewitz, he nods to you. He says this way, and you go through a series of back passages through the warehouse, down a set of stairs. He reaches out for like a kind of like one of those turn handles, the ones that seal doors, and he starts to just give it a firm crank, which unseals the door, yanks it open, quickly slips through. Froco's pretty much in the back, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I imagine so.
And you got like 20 or so cultists between Froco and Lewitz leading the way. All of you. Sorry, not Froco. Wow, I'm getting confused on my birds. Quetzal.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a chocobo named Froco, and that's where I got all confused.
How far away is the entrance to the warehouse from Ra?
Well, the nearest mage to you is 25 feet away. They're kind of standing at the back of a formation of soldiers who are standing kind of like
What about the warehouse itself, like the opening to it?
Yeah. Staying at attention. They're in the streets surrounding the warehouse, so the warehouse's entrance would probably be about, I would say, 40 feet away from where your current position is.
Great.
With a bunch of soldiers between you and it.
Ra outstretches his hand from behind the crates, and he continues to wait.
Right. So, Myth, Lewitz, and the cultists and Quetzal all slip into the tunnels with the assistance of Pass Without Trace. Should be really hard to find them if they should raid the warehouse. That leaves just TP, Aramis, and Surge to basically act as a kind of diversion.
Is it? Is probably be feeling more confident in them making it out after. Like she thought she was leaving Artemis into a back in a death trap, and well, not exactly a death trap, but like a situation that would lead her to just get captured, and then turns out she wasn't. So.
So
Surge, he looks at TP and he looks at you, Artemis. Says, Well, if we're gonna make a show of it this way, I know the way up to the roof. And he hurries up a set of stairs.
Ra is going to cast Thaumaturgy.
Okay.
He creates harmless tremors in the ground for 1 minute.
All right. So the ground starts to quake a little. The soldiers start to look around like, what was that? The captain, kind of spearheading this assault, he looks around and says, it's just trickery of the cult. They're trying to demoralize us with their cheap illusion magics. Stand strong, everyone. It takes more than a few little tremors to...
So once they get up onto the roof, Artemis is going to pull the obsidian carol over her head.
Okay.
And she's going to look at TP, and she's going to look at Serge. She's going to nod. And at about the 4-minute mark for the ultimatum, she is going to cast Minor Illusion. And she's going to use it to throw her voice 30 feet out in front of her.
Okay.
And probably as the guy is saying this, she is going to speak. You've come an awfully long way for your judgment.
Ra smiles.
Can I assume then that you are interested in the path of penitence?
The guards seem just a little bit more unnerved, but the captain is pretty focused on the task at hand. He steps forward. He's got his hand kind of like on his saber. This. We've come to see this silly religion banished from our city. It keeps us anchored to this land.
Really? Anchored? It's a strange choice of words. One would think you'd be a little more cautious in poking at things that you don't understand.
And at that, centered at a point 60 feet diagonally up above the warehouse, where nobody's in its area of effect, Ra's going to cast Shatter in the air.
Okay. So a magical sphere manifests, begins to compress air into it, and then it just explodes with a big ringing sound. Soldiers start to like stagger and scatter back. The captain even kind of like steps back, but shielding his face, he realizes that the sphere didn't reach any of them. More smoke and mirrors, is it? All right, you've had your answer. Everyone, storm the building.
No. I think we should talk face to face, as it were. If you hold your fire for a brief moment, I'll be right out to speak. And Artemis,
Okay.
she's going to pull back her minor illusion, and then she's going to create a new one down at the factory entrance.
All right.
Basically, her carrying a staff, a little shorter than she is, obviously. They don't know that.
Right.
Walks out slowly.
Now, does this look like Artemis?
It looks like Artemis wearing the obsidian coat.
Okay. So her face is obscured and she's kind of
Yeah.
got eyes glowing underneath of it. Right. The captain sees this and he sees the menacing appearance of you and he draws his saber and he says, "I knew foul witchcraft was at the work here." He points at you. "Stand down or be broken."
Foul witchcraft. Is that what you call it? How certain are you?
Some of the soldiers point their crossbows.
Superiority over the gods.
The gods are a lie. They are a false face, and it is high time we've discarded such foolish notions.
Such a brave face to put on it, Command. But I wonder, in all this time of drawing the lightning from his divine form, did it ever slip your mind that you might have little loose than you had reckoned upon?
The captain stares at your visage, and then he kind of like gives a subtle nod to some of the men, and they start rushing in to more closely surround what they think is you. The mage, however, assisting the captain, is going to make an Arcana check. They give your form a good study while you're doing your monologue. Da, 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 da. Okay. What's the check to make on minor illusions for you?
I believe it's against the spell save DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, has to be. Yeah, have the investigation against your spell save DC.
Yep. So it's an
All right.
investigation check, not Arcana.
All right.
Yep.
Well, actually, they're actually the mage is gonna do this. They're gonna lift a hand up, and a magical sphere seal manifests in front of their palm in the air, and they close their eyes, and they speak to the captain. Captain, if I may. The captain takes a foot back and he glances the mage's way. Says,
Can Ra cast silence on the group?
Sure.
Alright, they're silenced. They can't talk.
So you're hiding out and you begin to weave a spell, and as she's about to reveal the smoke and mirrors, she starts to speak. Her mouth moves, and then she like looks down at herself. She says something else. And then she starts to panic.
I wanna cast thaumaturgy to make the ground shake a little more again.
Everyone starts to talk, and they realize that they can't speak. The captain even says things at the visage, but Artemis, you don't know what he's saying.
Oh, what a pity. Still, those with guilt, fear, too often lose their tongues when they come face to face. They dearly was not real. But you're right. We have talked enough. I think it's time for you to meet, and we'll see just who is not real upon this firmament.
Some of the soldiers that have closely surrounded your visage, they start to panic, realizing that they can't speak. A couple of them like hesitate, but one or two actually make attacks at your illusion. Probably much to their surprise, they realize that their swords and spears just cut right through it.
And as they run their swords through, the Artemis illusion dissipates into little fragments of static electricity and motes of lightning.
Right?
And then focus on where the Artemis illusion was in a 20-foot cube. There starts to be a rolling storm cloud building up above them.
All right.
Crackles, it bristles, and then there is one titanic bolt of lightning that crashes into the ground in front of them, and a massive humanoid figure clad in robes, crackling with lightning, massive beard, grasping a larger version of Sergei's staff in its right hand, begins to form out of the lightning slowly.
All right. Well, this has a lot of the soldiers are very freaked out now, and some of them start to scatter and run. The police
Spell is
shout.
that out of curiosity? Sorry.
I think major
That's
image.
major image.
Yep. Is the
Okay.
big mode.
The captain shouts at some of them to hold position, but his voice doesn't reach them because it's obviously silenced. This cuts down significantly the amount of troops outside the building. It's down to just a small squadron who are pretty loyal despite the fact that they're shaking in their boots. The mage is also with them.
Okay. Are they relatively in a line?
In the what?
In a
Is
The
line.
line.
Are the mage and the captain standing next to one another?
Yeah, they are.
Great.
Never underestimate a group of spellcasters, guys.
So
Right?
as this happens and the figure finally finishes manifesting, it reaches its eyes, crackling with lightning. It points its hand towards the captain and the mage. Excuse me while I summon the necessary bombast for this.
Oh, this wasn't enough bombast?
Oh no.
Oh.
It's gotta be Ramu.
Thou wouldst seek to solicit injury upon my chosen. Thou wouldst chain me with the bindings of thy technology. But Worst of all, thou wouldst deny mine very existence. O penitent sinners, face now mine judgment. And Artemis,
And that's the cue.
yeah, you can call down the lightning. Artemis is going to make it raise its hand, and where it raises its hand, she is going to fire off a lightning bolt at the captain and the mage.
As you do this, the mage reaches her hand out, and another rune projects from it. It is a counter spell.
Hold up. Hold up. Nope, it's just somatic. Crap.
Yep. She tries to yell at the captain to run to get back, but she can't say a damn thing because she's silenced.
What has Surge got?
Actually,
Surge,
that's-
Surge is actually going to assist with the call lightning spell. So
how far away is the mage?
she's like within 5 feet of the captain.
No, but how far away is the mage from Artemis?
Like actual Artemis.
Oh, well, you're on the rooftop of this warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
They're out in the street in front of it.
Wait, she's trying to counterspell the spell from the Ramu, not from Artemis.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't see actual Artemis.
Right.
So this lightning bolt has a range of like, God, I can't remember.
120 feet or something like that.
Yeah.
Darn it. Show the... How come it's not showing the thing?
100 foot line. Oh yeah.
Are you trying to get it to show the spell?
Yeah.
You have
Well,
it set to spell card, I think.
Oh... Let me just...
Yeah, or you have the output
You-
as attack instead of
Yeah.
spell card.
You attempt to interrupt a creature in the process of casting a spell. If the creature is casting a spell of 3rd level or lower, its spell fails and has no effect. If it is casting a spell of 4th level or higher, make an ability check using your spellcasting ability. The DC equals 10 plus the spell's level. Success, the creature's spell fails and has no effect.
Anyway, yeah, basically Surge knows Call Lightning, and so he's going to add to TP's bombastic summoning of the lightning cloud. He's going to merge his cloud with TP's and make an even bigger, just ominous-looking looming cloud over the sky, just crackling and just vibrant. Ra, you can feel the ozone in the air. You can smell it. They're putting on a pretty big show. So, Artemis, you casted lightning bolts
Yep.
directly at the captain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so basically the head mage assisting the captain tries to counter it. She's trying to counter the one that she thinks Ramu is firing forth. Let me actually look at how counterspell works real quick, just to double verify things. Interrupt your creature process if the creature is casting a spell. If they're okay. So it has to be a creature she can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, the casting time's 1 reaction, which you take when you see a creature within 60 feet of you casting a spell.
You guys are within 60 feet of each other.
Can't see Artemis though. Artemis is on the
Yeah, the
roof.
question is if
Mm-hmm.
The question
Question
is,
is if
can
you-
Artemis see the captain from where she's at?
oh, that's a good point. No, not another one.
So
Is Artemis
Okay.
under the effects of Pass Without a Trace?
yeah,
Hmm.
but that also depends how you treat. Ooh, no, she can see him.
All right.
Because she doesn't believe her own illusion, so she can see through it.
All right.
You could be standing up here waving her hands wildly.
It is a major illusion.
All right, so the mage
He
tries.
doesn't have to he doesn't have to die. She's just like trying to scare him the fuck off.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just trying to figure out the logistics here. All right, so she basically tries to erect a magic barrier to block out the lightning, but it seems to shatter right through it. Much to her surprise, hits the captain. Some stray lightning bounces off and hits her. The two get like knocked to the ground. They both scurry up, and noticing that much of their formation was thrown into disarray, they start to get up and flee.
Ra starts hurriedly putting his regular clothes back on, but he leaves the things he bought. He tries to hide it in a little cache in the alleyway,
Right.
and then he's gonna run backwards through the alley away from the warehouses.
All right. Is there any direction in particular you have in mind?
So the police forces were walking towards the warehouse district from a direction, right?
Yep.
Ra is going to... So he's moving back down the alleyway from where he came. And then he's going to turn towards where the police came from and cut back to where he thinks they're going to retreat to.
They might be falling back to their station.
Yeah, I know. He just wants to be like in the general like path of travel so that he can possibly talk to them on the way.
So they're not really in a formation as they're fleeing. They are kind of just making their way back as best as they know the streets. They're pretty disoriented right now.
Okay, does Ross see any like particularly fearful soldiers nearby or policemen?
You do see the captain and the mage assisting him are kind of like harshly like whispering things at each other about like what happened.
Is the captain the same one that was trying to get Quetzal off of the awning?
No. This one has a clean-shaven face, some pretty thick mutton chops going on.
All right, he's gonna get in the way and he's gonna say, "Hey, what's going on over there?"
Best you steer clear of the shipping yard, citizen. Seems like the damn cultists managed to bring their god somehow into this world.
Ruff furrows his brow and he says, "With all due respect, I'm not a citizen. Is there any way I can help?"
Oh, unless you're in the business of god slaying, I just imagine that you stay clear and stay safe. That's the best thing you can do. We'll redouble our force, and we might need to bring out the big guns.
Ron nods. And then, that's fine.
Without much of a further regard to you, he continues to... the two of them continue to flee back to...
Alright, well, that's great confirmation to have. Ra's going to go back. He's going to re-loot the cache that he set. Is it still there? Please? Thank God. Please?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. It wasn't
And
long.
what's the warehouse looking like? Is there anybody still there?
So all the guards have basically fled, and they're heading back to their police station and everything. Do you keep the illusion up, or there's a lot of innocent bystanders? A lot of them have fled at the sight of the god. There's a couple others that are just frozen in place in just absolute awe and terror, because they're not really sure if they should flee or. A couple of them actually do get on their knees and start to, like, repent, as it were.
Can I roll stealth to try and get into the warehouse without being overtly noticed?
Go ahead. Alright, so stealth, you kind of just make yourself look as inconspicuous as possible. And by inconspicuous, real quick, Armis, is the fake Ramu still out?
So, as the policemen flee and lightning bolts are firing out, Artemis is helping them along by throwing out bolts of eldritch lightning as well. And then as she finishes this, what direction is the Temple of Ramu from the warehouse?
I would say the most accurate thing to say is near directly up.
Yeah, it's a big spire. So she's gonna have the Ramu illusion, raise its staff and point it towards that, and a big booming voice. She's going to say, "This was but the beginning. Look again of my coming and my judgment." And then it is going to dissipate back into lightning, suck back up into the clouds, and the clouds are going to scatter as if they were never there.
All right. So Surge basically ends his call lightning spell as this big old dramatic show finishes. A lot of people are kind of like distracted by what's going on. They're looking generally in the direction of where Ramu was quote unquote summoned, though. So it's gonna be pretty open out in the open raw. You might need to navigate around behind the back and all that, but
He's just gonna act like one of the citizens and then try to slip in when it doesn't seem like they're looking anymore, which might be in like a couple minutes or 5 or 10 or something. He'll take what time is necessary.
so a few of them are looking at the spot in awe, like, what the fuck, that just happened. Some of them are talking amongst themselves.
Actually,
about
Russ gonna approach some of them.
There's a couple of people that seem to work around here in the shipping yard, hefting boxes around, taking inventory in the lot. Like,
The policemen run, but you stay, huh?
well, Ramu hasn't turned his staff on us, but I definitely don't want to get on his bad side now.
Roth furrows his brow and he says, "I thought acknowledging Ramu's mere existence was tantamount to, well, a crime around here."
Well, yeah, but given what we've seen,
I suppose that's true. He rubs his chin and he says, "You guys work around here, right?"
right, we move shipments around and the like.
Sure hope you have good insurance policies. And make sure you don't walk too close to those lamps. And he just like points his Ifrit rapier out of the sheath at the various lamps around, just trying to look shadow huntery and whatnot.
Is their spear weapon still active?
No.
Alright, you dismissed that? Okay.
Yeah. I think it only lasts a minute, and it's been longer than a minute, so.
Yeah.
The fighting he
Right.
expected to break out did not.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be a lot more careful around anything that uses electricity. Jeez, I need a drink.
Ra's gonna flick him like 5 gil. Just the group in general.
They look at you and they go, much appreciated, and they start to scatter off to do their own thing.
And Ra's gonna move in.
Alright, so once their backs is turned, you head quickly towards the warehouse.
Immediately up towards the roof.
You take the side door up. Seems like it was open. No traces of any of the cultists, but you make your way up to the roof, and Serge he's kind of standing at the edge of it, staff in hand. with TP and Artemis. And he's kind of like baffled that that actually worked.
Ra just grins as he crests the stairs. He twirls Artemis's staff in his hands and tosses it to her, and then takes out some of the hats and is like, "That was quite a show. I did what I could to help, but the accolades are all to you."
I think she was having a bit too much fun there, Koopa.
It won't
Listen,
keep them long.
Listen,
It absolutely will not. I managed to cut off and, well, question a little bit the captain on his way back. He said he was going to be returning promptly with the quote-unquote big guns. I think it very prudent we use this opportunity to, how to say, get the fuck out of Dodge.
well, there's not going to be an encore for at least an hour, so yes, let's depart the stage.
Where's Myth? Where's the rest of them? And
Already fled through the tunnels.
where do the tunnels lead? He directs this question to Surge.
There's we have several small hideouts throughout the city, though we try to rotate between them so as to not pin down our location.
Ra cranes his neck. How do you think they found us?
Spies in the streets, perhaps, or maybe they have an inside man among our lot, though I hate to think of it.
Would you like me to do some investigating?
He frowns deeply because he doesn't like the idea that there's a traitor among his people. He's very much not on board with that idea. Once we've gotten settled in our new location. But right now we need to regroup.
Ra nods. I expect Myth is the one leading them through the tunnels. Alright, well, best get to it then. Do they know the tunnels exist? Should we try to seal them off?
If we seal them off and they do know it exists, then that means that we would be trapped if we had to dash back to Koopa.
Yes, but if they can get down into the tunnel system, they can chart every place that the tunnels deposit, and then they would know where all of our locations are. Better to lose one in the long run than the alternative. Either way, time is of the essence. Let's go. We can talk on the way. And, Quetzal?
We made sure to take the bird with her.
He's looking at Artemis expectantly. Like,
Yes, they took the bird.
ah! And he gives her a hug. Thank you so much.
Aww.
Alright, let's go. He
Emotional support animal indeed.
as he starts to move towards the stairs, he takes out the hat he cut a hole in for TP's pom-pom, and he just stuffs it on his head.
Alright,
It is the white and green one.
Alright, I've been speaking in my normal voice, so yeah, she's taking the obsidian hood there.
Of course. Ra's keeping the brown one. He also hands her the robes.
Alright.
Do I pull it off?
I don't know, does he?
No, he's asking if he pulls off the look.
I know, and I'm asking, like, do you want TB to pull off the look?
You said it was white and green?
Yep.
It can work with the fact that he usually wears white mage robes, yeah.
It, like, doubles your height, but yeah, it looks amazing. What can I say? It's like I picked it out myself.
You had to cut a hole in this, didn't you?
Rod does some snip motions with his hands and then books it down the stairs.
How do I...
How do you what?
All right, is that better?
That's perfect. So Ra
Alright.
is running, trying to catch up with the rest of them.
All right, so Surge leads you down to the tunnels, their escape route. They sealed it behind them just in case, but deceptively, Surge is a kind of strong guy for being a cleric. He's got muscles, so it doesn't take as much effort as Lewitz would have to open it. He gives a good firm, and the
So what you're saying is
Hang
he's
on.
husbando material.
He's husbando. And he allows you three to go through in front of him.
So as Ra's running, he takes his brown hat off and starts affixing a leather strap to it.
All right.
How fast does it take him to catch up? What pace are Myth and the others moving at?
Myth, how fast do you want to move? Are you moving pretty fast? Lewitz seems like he's eager to go.
Yeah, I'll probably be trying to hurry everyone along. Be calling for slowdowns if necessary. So and such and such.
She's doing a good job as evacuation mom.
Right.
I guess that's her role now.
So what are these tunnels like? Are they like a bunch of brass pipework and stuff? Or are they like
yeah, so they're
mining
pretty
tunnels?
cramped. They got metal paneling and like small little brass tubes running in and out of it. It doesn't look like it was really meant for people to pass through them. Probably more maintenance tunnels than anything.
So like, is everyone hunched over and in single file?
Basically,
Holy crap. Okay.
it's particularly cramped for a chocobo.
Oh, the boy.
Nice.
Ra's just gonna yell down the tunnels, Quetzal!
So you yell that, and a yell that, and ahead, Myth, you hear an echoing from the distance.
Get
Behind
over here, Ra!
so you yell that back.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, okay. That was the in player. That was the early player
Okay,
personality.
great. So Ra
Ra,
knows.
Ra, come down here.
He does his best to catch up.
So Ra hurries on ahead. Surge watches this. He doesn't expect that there's any like trouble or any like hazards down here. They kind of navigate these tunnels somewhat on the regular.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's the boy. It's Quetzal. Ah.
Okay.
You rush up to a face full of chocobo butt.
Ra just starts like just
Your
stroking
papa.
all the feathers he can. He's doing his best to soothe the poor bird.
Oh, I just kind of like, well, hey, well, it's your papa.
I'm what?
Congratulations, Ra. You're a father now.
Rod looks terrified. What are you talking about? He checks behind his shoulder. He looks like underneath his right arm.
Quetzal considers you a father, apparently.
Oh, thank God.
Rod freezes. Quetzal, what?
And she kind of just like. It's just kind of like,
That's
well,
going in the books.
you certainly seem. Certainly seems like you. It certainly seemed like you did too.
Rod just
so-
kind of clams up and wipes a tear away. He's like, okay. I guess I'm your papa now, boy. And he pats Quetzal. Alright, let's go. Come on.
So the tunnel kind of makes a gradual rounding about around a corner. Kind of does this a couple of times, weaving left and right, sort of like almost like a snake. Not very tight bends, but very gradual turns here and there. Instead, just a straight path. Eventually, though, you come to the y'all come to the other side of the door. And Luitz, he starts to give the crank a good turn. And you all spill out into a pretty cozy wine cellar.
Huh?
It was a good bit of a walking distance.
He's scratching some nostalgia. Ross stretches, glad to get out of the tunnels, and he's gonna do a little bit of a roll call.
Fine.
Worst places to be stuck in the new headquarters.
All right, there's Artemis. Myth.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's Myth. TP.
So why Mezadi? Mezadi?
Of course I'm here, Koopa.
What were you asking?
Is the wine Mezadi?
Oh, is the wine Meisha?
Of a Mezadi brand, I mean.
Give me an investigation check.
Alright, investigation smell.
Um, there might be a couple of vintages you recognize, but none of them seem Mejadi.
Artemis. Artemis
Yeah.
here. All right, there's you.
You already asked.
Oh, well, sorry. There's Quetzal. All right, Serge, you got the rest?
So the 18 or so cultists all kind of crowd in this cramped wine cellar along with your group.
Does Serge call them out?
Yeah, he starts naming them off, and I'm not gonna fucking give them individual
Ra
names.
pays very close attention to all of them.
Alright, so he starts with Luitz and kind of works his way through the ranks. You got names like Jamal and
Ra's gonna roll insight. Do any of them seem a little off?
an insight check. All of them seem a little ruffled for having that near close scrape with the law.
All right.
A couple of them are kind of whispering among themselves. You do kind of pick up a little bit of, I thought this was supposed to be a safe spot. I thought that was supposed to be a safe spot.
After that, Ra's going to move around the wine cellar, see what kind of exits and entrances it has. Does it just open up into a building above?
Yeah, as a stairwell to the upper floor. In fact, you hear kind of a bit of chatter in the upper floor. You also hear a lot of footsteps moving around, and you hear the door handle.
Ra looks to see Surge's reaction.
Serge nods to you, and he steps closer to the door in question. He seems to stand ready, not as if he's about to attack whoever comes through, but to kind of greet.
Ra's gonna hang back, kind of lean up against the wall, and he's mostly just gonna pay a lot of attention to the behavior of everyone else in the pseudo convent. Wait. It's dead, Jim. Hello?
Hi.
Well,
We just got shot from
That's
orbit.
one of them.
Just orbital strike direct to the Discord server.
How long do you think Robert will narrate before he realizes?
he did. He's talking in Roll20.
Oh.
Are we back?
Us
We
four.
believe so. So,
What a mess.
Ra does not want another crew.
Ra just wants to do the mugshot thing,
I don't know what the mugshot thing is. Ra
where he,
wants to...
where he draws pictures of everyone.
No, I don't think he needs to do that here. He's just profiling them.
Racist.
He's being an anti-cop cop.
All right, are we back?
I think
There's
so.
a Robert.
We just need to get
As
Rhythm
close
Bot
as
back
we-
in here.
Okay.
Craig's
Rhythm bot.
struggling.
That's
Craig
fine.
is-
I've got OBS.
Now recording.
Shut up.
Craig has died along with. Oh. Bot's working really well either.
Well, that's quite the hiccup.
Um,
Craig says he's recording.
Copy video
Hmm.
URL.
And he
Uh,
joined
Craig-
General.
Craig joined General. Craig's like, where is
no.
everybody? I'm all alone.
You know, that's the first time in all my years of playing D&D that big illusion magic worked.
I mean,
Why wouldn't it? That was cool as hell.
It really was.
I mean, the.
All right, we can
the
move right back into
mage-
things, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
mage was going to she was gonna spill the beans on it, but then that silence fell.
Woo! That was clutch as hell.
What?
Hell yeah.
That
Don't
really
mess with the party of mages.
It really threw a fucking wrench in the works for them.
Can't keep morale if they can't hear you.
Wait, what? What happened?
The
Sorry.
silence spell.
Okay, so what does the silence spell do?
It prevented them from talking to each other while we were doing the illusion stuff.
Yeah,
Fair
she tried to say, "Hey, Chief, don't be fooled. That thing is an illusion."
It's a big fake.
Well,
all
it's,
fake
it's only
news.
the Artemis that was the illusion that she saw through, right?
Yeah.
The big Ramu was.
She used detect magic, and she found out that it was entirely magic.
Oh.
And then,
And she's gonna be like, "Chief, this thing is fake."
and then she starts trying to counterspell, and multiple spells are going off, and she's like, okay, what the fuck? What's going on? This is spooky. Anyways, so Ra's gonna hang back, and he's mostly just gonna keep a really close eye on the behavior of all of the members of the pseudo clergy.
Um,
I'm gonna mute Wyatt, and we should be good. What's everyone else
Right.
doing?
so down the stairs steps the bartender and retired adventurer of the Adventurers Guild. And he says,
Wait.
"Serge."
Is that Jarvie?
Was that what I named him?
It's the guy that Ra was like, whoa, I'm Jarvie too.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Well, unfortunately, Ra's not paying attention, but it's Jarvie.
Now recording.
Thanks, Craig.
Hello, Craig.
Hi, Craig. How was your day? Wait.
His day was recording. Right, so Jarvie steps down the stairs, he looks around at Serge, and just this crowded gaggle of his followers. Ah, Serge. You know I don't like to entertain prolonged visits, and your coming here wasn't due for another month or two.
What the shit?
Serge, he kind of like looks back at you and a lot of his people, and he goes, "Well, our hand was forced. Can you tell me if you caught wind of the commotion out in the streets?" Jarvie says back to him, he says, "Yes, well, we've heard some rustlings. Didn't get a good look myself, but seems like people are scurrying everywhere, and talks of Ramu showing his face. Was that your doing?" Serge just kind of cracks a wry smirk and he says, "It's not on me to call Ramu to us. Rather, we ever live to serve his purpose." Jarvie's like, "Right, well..." And he makes to move to get a bottle of wine from the cellar, acting like, this is all just,
Business as usual.
business as usual. He pulls a vintage from the rack, and as he does so, the wine rack begins to slide away, revealing a secret passage.
Ooh.
I trust you'll have my usual fee at the ready. You know I can't just keep you here of my goodwill. I've got my own affairs to tend." And Serge is like, of course. And he nods to you and his group as he makes his way through this secret door. It seems like there's pretty open space. Has been kind of like makeshift, prepared with like some basic accommodations. Nothing robust, nothing fancy, but it serves if you're going to keep your head down. Just don't make too much of a ruckus this time. I really don't need the questions. There is a big table kind of at the center of the room. There's like a few things scattered on it, like bottles and small boxes and stuff. But
Ra's gonna gesture over to Artemis for her to come closer.
Okay. What?
What's your plan with the dynamos around the city?
That was my plan.
Ra thumbs at his chin as he looks down in contemplation. I see.
I was going to make them doubt the structural integrity of their system and hopefully draw some of the bigger technical wizards out to investigate.
I think
At the very least, I'd have them questioning exactly how contained Ramu actually is.
you saw the shatter spell I casted.
Mm-hmm.
I can do quite a few of those, and they do tend to work wonders on destabilizing the structure of certain things. I wonder if we start to use some of those on the things that... Well, obviously they can't let all of Ramu's power through to each little electrical device, right? Or else they would all be overloaded. But say we messed with that balance a little bit by messing with the structural integrity of the device itself. Some well-placed sabotage could do us a lot of good, especially considering, well, I think you were convincing enough. It would go quite handily with Ramu now enacting his vengeance upon them. I think I could get us around, especially with the help of Myth.
It also depends how readily they want to admit that Ramu might be around.
Ron nods.
If we could make them doubt the dynamos, if they're not willing to admit Ramu is real, it still would have to disable them for some reason. That would be on their head.
At the same time, I do still think that I should pursue getting an audience with the head of this engineering guild here. The motive Myth gave to... Do we have loop on? We don't.
wonk wonk.
I'll fix it. The motive Myth gave that I, as a shadow hunter, would be looking for a suitable way to capture demons the same way they've captured Ramu. It's possible that with what's just happened, I could even use my motivations for coming, well, my fake motivations for coming here in the first place to sow the seeds of doubt in those that are higher up, or at least get their position on things. Maybe get them to slip up on what led to all of this in the first place. Either
If nothing
way,
else, it would be good for reconnaissance,
yes.
which we desperately need at the moment.
TP.
Ah,
And Rob beckons him over as well.
Goodbye. He comes over.
How do you feel about all this? Running reconnaissance? Or do you want to do a special job for me?
What did you have in mind?
It is possible that there is a plant here in this clergy. And that is how the warehouse itself was discovered. I don't know if you heard, but It's like Jarvie said to Serge. He wasn't expecting him here for another month, which means that these followers of Ramu, they move frequently. They cover their tracks well. The police, well, they're bumbling. They were struggling for hours with a fucking chocobo. I'm inclined to agree with his intuition. Is it possible you could do some investigating around for me? Maybe follow them if they leave stray too far, or if they... It's likely that they would be using either the telegraph, or the Telegraphers Guild, whatever it's called, or they'd be writing notes themselves and sending it through other people.
Man, if I had the zone of truth, I could just fucking...
Oh, I have the zone of truth.
Then what are you waiting for? Just do that. Snuff it out right now, Koopa.
I'm a little taxed right now. Maybe tomorrow? Keep an eye on them until then. In fact, maybe we all ought to rest until tomorrow. Ra just rubs some of his Ramu burns. You do look good in the new duds, by the way. And Ra flicks the top of the top hat.
While we're here,
So why top hat?
there was a second aspect to my plan with the dynamos that I was mulling over.
Well, let's hear it.
It's quite possible that our friends in the shadows are the ones who are providing the knowledge to subdue Ramu, which means that they are, in all likelihood, potentially working with the higher-ups, the guild.
Who do you mean?
I mean our warrior of darkness friend.
Yeah, alright. Just making sure we were on the same page.
So, I was wondering perhaps if we could, if they are working together, potentially sow some discord there as well.
Well, there are only 4 of us, and the most successful plans should have a good foundation, so let's make sure we succeed on this first act. That's a great direction to go, though. I agree.
I was thinking the next time that I summon Ramos, do it in the guise of one of the 2 that we have seen.
Oh, yeah, Ross scratches the back of his head. You got it really close, by the way. Sorry for not having the portrait immediately on hand. I guess I should.
Ah, so you figured out why I wanted it then.
He shrugs. I don't know why I still expect the worst from you. I guess I've just been conditioned.
Well, if you can get that ready, I'll make the disguise even more convincing next time.
Ron nods. I will do my best.
And you may not wish to, but if you could draw one of the 2, that would help in forming a disguise.
One of the 2 what?
Either
Argiana or Kale?
whichever you prefer.
Ross smiles. I don't think I'll ever forget Argian's face.
Great. Do him. Who knows, we might even draw one of them out to see what the fuck is happening.
He just cracks his knuckles and smiles. You know, I've never really hated someone before then. Alright, I guess I'll get to the drawing while we're resting here. Myth, you've got any plans for the immediate future, or?
Well, it's been stated that there's been places yet undiscovered in the town. The rest of, and well, the base of what the, or rather, the base of what the town was built in. I plan on doing some research into the depths of it myself. Perhaps we can find a crystal like the one we've seen under the ruins. Like the ruins you've seen under the
The
Alexarian desert.
the Lufinian ones, you mean?
Yeah.
Nods. First, though, and he hands her the fancy Ardengale clothing. I do want to see how it looks.
Excuse me.
Fancy Ardengale clothing. Alright. What did he get her again?
It's like it's the girl version of a sweater vest, so it's more blousy, but it still looks like studious and high class.
Right then. Okay, okay. Do I have this place? Do I find a place to change or?
I mean, they do have privies, so
Okay, yeah, I'll step into a bathroom.
they have. So this is kind of a common room, and they have a couple of side rooms here, but looks like if you're gonna bunk up, you're gonna have to bunk up with others. Not in the same bed. There's cots down here, but it seems like some of the followers of Ramu have already taken to settling in. They seem like they're pretty like they know this place, so they kind of have their beds all sorted out. But the space seems to have also been made to accommodate more people than there actually are. That's probably because, you know, the numbers have thinned over the time since the ban. So finding 4 beds for your group shouldn't be a problem. And, you know, if you want more cozier accommodations, you can always step upstairs and ask about that with Jarvie. But yeah, you are currently residing in a secret area underneath the Adventurers Guild. Alright, so you get changing your new outfit. Anything else? Doing anything during the downtime here?
How does she pull it off?
Oh, do I pull it off? Let's see, actually it's a blouse. I don't know what a blouse looks like.
It's like a baggy shirt, I guess.
Oh, okay, one of those. And it looks alright on her. Not especially fashionable, but not especially unfashionable.
Rod nods to himself and says, "Well, you'll certainly fit in a lot more."
I nod.
And then he's gonna move to go begin drawing Ramu. He's gonna lounge on one of the pieces of furniture with just a random other member of the clergy.
So that member of the clergy is just kind of like thinking things over, kind of has their fingers interfolded into a bridge as they're leaning forward.
All right.
They give you a little nod and a glance, and they just go back to their whole thinking about things.
Ra finishes the... Sorry, you can go.
Sorry. Right. I go find Quetzal and give him some more good berries.
Quetzal seems very happy to get those more good berries.
Oh, Ra remembers. He runs over to Quetzal real fast. He had affixed the leather strap to the brown top hat. He puts it on Quetzal, and he puts the chin strap on, so it stays there.
Quetzal now looks really dapper.
How does he like it?
Uh,
I'm
he
asking
thinks
Myth.
that... Curious. I've never seen anyone put a hat on a chocobo before.
I think I'm gonna make him a shadow hunter outfit too.
Myth raises an eyebrow but doesn't question it.
So are you gonna speak with animals or just make shit up?
Wait, why would I speak with animals right now?
Because he's asking
Yeah,
you.
Ron wants to know if Quetzal likes it.
Oh, Quetzal likes it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll cast speak with animals. I mean, last.
All right, so you can't speak with
More
animals.
Quetzal voice.
So what do you ask?
So, how do you like the hot?
Quetzal responds with, I don't know what a hat is, but if Papa thinks I should wear this thing, I'll wear this thing.
He's.
It make Papa happy.
Oh. I give him another berry when he says that. Kind of pat him on the beak.
What did he say?
Ah. He says that if and I quote if Papa wants me to wear this hat, then I'll wear it. It make Papa happy.
Rot takes his hands and he puts them on either side of Quetzal's beak, and he looks up and he just goes, I love you! He returns to the couch. He gives a lasting look to Quetzal as he picks up his drawing book and quill again. And then he just sighs a deep, contented sigh and finishes the general framing for Ramu. So, you must really believe in this stuff to take this over a quieter life, yeah?
We're actually the cultist or the follower looks at you and kind of looks back at their toes or at his toes, and he says, I'm actually a second generation. It was the first that investigated the tower, what with the now known as House of Innovations.
I see. It's almost in your blood at this point then, huh?
Well, followers of Ramu have always been itinerant, moving from place to place, but when we discovered this tower, he looks towards Surge. It was that man's grandfather who decided that we should establish a chapel here.
What happened to him?
Not many people know. He went down into the depths of the city and just never came back.
I see. It's certainly a lot to give a man pause.
And Brother Surge here, well, he was a hoplite at the time, and he never really wanted to lead, I don't think, but
They always make the best, don't they? The ones that have it thrust upon them.
right.
So you think he's a good sort then? Think he takes care of you?
I think he's trying to do his best for all of us. But, you know, there's a lot of folk among our flock who have left. The best isn't exactly good enough and whatnot. Or perhaps they've thrown their lot in with...
I'm getting called down to dinner. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. He kind of nods to the upstairs, generally to the upstairs. The best isn't good enough, or they're throwing their lot in with who they think is the stronger.
So these I guess I'll call them deserters. Would they know about these places?
I guess it's possible that one of those that left our flock has given up some of our whereabouts, so we try to be careful and we try to move often so as to not, you know, have what just happened. It's an odd thing. That warehouse was a relatively new hideout of ours.
New. What makes it new? What added it to the rest of the places you were going?
He kind of half shrugs. Well,
You weren't advised to go there by anyone, were you?
he looks over to Lewitz, who's kind of like assisting Surge in getting people settled in. Lewitz there, he's our ears on the street. He kind of, you know, he's the one who gathers rumors and such. And if that warehouse was a trap, I don't really blame the kid, but we'd been settled in there for a good while. If the Say wanted to move in on us, they would have done so earlier.
That's good to know. Ra, by the way. And he tilts the book a little bit and he says, and what do you think so far of your patron?
Give me a calligraphy check. $28, yeah. You show off like the majesty of Ramu's beard and just the whole like atmosphere surrounding him.
If I had
This
some
person,
blue ink, I think I might be able to get the shading a little better, but you can tell
Oh,
that that's
no.
lightning, right?
absolutely, it captures his majesty and wisdom quite well.
It's a hell of a thing to see before he gets zapped back to reality. And he rubs his shoulder.
Ah, right. You were trying to commune with him before, weren't you?
Yeah, I think I'll have to try again a couple times tomorrow too. Didn't quite get the results I wanted. And he closes the book and sits up. Artemis, I've got your commission.
Which one?
And she shows her Ramu.
Oh, okay. Wow, I thought I went overboard in the beard, but apparently underboard.
Ra just kind of like nods and tilts his head a little bit. Yeah. It was good though. Very convincing. Especially with
Well-
nothing to go off of. I liked the touch of using a bigger form of Surge's staff, but as you can see, this one's got a little more gnarls to it.
Oh, if I never. Oh. So. This isn't the first time I've come into contact with Ramu worshippers.
I did swear I saw a little bit of a glint in your eye when Ramu was getting brought up in conversation. What's that about? And you were down in the prayer room, now that I think about it.
It's because I am, was, still am, one.
You don't hear it, but you definitely feel in the back of your mind something of a sneer.
Ra.
That's at Artemis, by the way.
Yeah, Ra's gonna sort of turn his head and side-eye glance at Surge. He's got some nice arms. Better than Martius, anyway.
Surge has set aside his pike staff for the time being, and he seems like he's doing his part to get people settled in. It's just letting your group do your own thing.
It's a real people's man, too. Ra folds his arms.
Artemis.
He's just reading his book and he's like, what, are you surprised? She's the well learned. Ramu's like the god of knowledge, Kupo.
Ra just ignores him completely.
Artemis looks over at him and is like, what, do you want me to ask him out for you?
Ra grins and says, not your type, huh?
I figure we have more pressing things to deal with right now.
Ra nods. I suppose that's fair.
Secure the future of the star before thinking about anything like that.
He's gonna bend the paper. He's gonna apply just a bit of moisture from his water skin, and he's gonna tear it out cleanly and hand it to Artemis. There you go. The new does look good, by the way. They seem to match your personality a lot better.
Any rate,
Ross stretches and goes, bedtime! Let's get these kinks out. He cracks his neck one direction, then the other, and walks off to go rest.
Yeah, that was a lot of magic y'all threw around to sell a lie, basically.
But sell it,
But it was
we
cool,
did.
right?
Yes, sold it. Yes, sold it super good.
Evie's very mad that my monitor is still on while it's dark.
Yeah, sold it real good, and well, the police are flipping. Yeah, they're like, oh boy. That said, your group seems to be safe for now. You take a good rest, find a nice little corner to sort of like sort yourselves out at. And the next day rolls around.
Alright, so first things first. Ra is going to go look for Lewitz.
Lewis looks like he's about getting. How early in the day do you wake up?
Ra wakes up. He prays with Myth at 5 a.m. And then
Alright.
he'd move out to go talk to Lewitz at 6.
Yeah, so Lewis would be getting ready to hit the streets and do his usual recon.
Hey, mind if I take a little bit of your time?
Not much, I hope. Gotta make my rounds and everything. But what do you need? Ra, wasn't it?
Ra nods. He says, good ear for names. And he gestures him over to the room with the table. He sits across. He gestures for Lewitz to take the other side.
Lewis just kind of shuffles in the seat, and he's got like curly blonde white bangs, and he just kind of like sweeps them out of his eyes. Kind of folds his arms over the table, leans in.
Ra touches the table and he casts Zone of Truth.
All right.
Why not just gather everyone together?
Because Zone of
It's an
Truth.
area of effect.
Yeah, it's an
spell.
area. It's an area of effect, sure, but he also wants to be very sure that what he's doing isn't really obvious. So that
Yeah, that's fair.
either way, Lewitz is the one that obviously deals with the most information, and it seems like the rest of them were either putting
Lewis
up a
is the
very
named
good front.
NPC.
Yeah, that's true. They're either putting up a really good front or they're not really suspicious. So he casts Zone of Truth. Lewis has to make a Charisma saving throw against spell save DC 14, and Ra will know whether or not he succeeds on it. I'll copy paste the spell for you. It's verbal and somatic, so it's pretty clear Ra's casting a spell.
Back.
What's the DC again?
14.
Rolling the dice. And time now. Any fucking crit.
So he succeeds?
Yes, he succeeded on a crit. It was a
All
nat
right.
20.
No problem. Ra looks at him and he says, so what does him critting on it look like?
So you begin to create the circle around you and him, and he kind of like studies the line work that is being made manifest, and he's like, he kind of waves his hand. He doesn't dismiss the spell, but he says, "You don't need to do that. I have nothing to hide from you. You're a friend of Surge."
Insight.
Seems like he's telling the truth.
Ra smiles. He dismisses the spell and he says, well, you do the most talking and to the most people. Who's the most suspicious?
Oh, you're asking after whether there's a plant among us. I haven't really had time to piece that together yet, but you start to look around at the heads that are present. It's a hard guess. I mean, there's not many of us left anymore. I imagine only the most faithful would have stuck it out with Surge.
What do you know about these big guns that the police would be pulling out after the stunt we pulled? Are these things you've had to contend with before?
Big guns.
Ron nods.
He starts to kind of give it some thought. It's the first I've heard of that. I'll be sure to ask around about it once I get up there and start getting my ears open again.
I would appreciate that. Sorry for the upfront suspicion, but best
No,
to
I
take
understand.
good measures. And lastly, could I ask a favor?
Depends on what it is, but sure.
Would you mind terribly if I came out with you and you showed me where I could at least attempt to gain an audience at the House of Innovations?
Oh. Snooping right into the wasp's hive, are ya? Yeah, I could probably get you set up with that.
Great. Well, the earlier the better. I'm ready when
But,
you are.
he lifts an index finger. You get caught. I've never heard of you.
Of course not. What's your name? He smiles.
He kind of just gives you a shit-eating grin and pushes up from the table. Anyone else coming up with you, or is it just gonna be you?
I think it's just me.
Alright.
Ra's gonna double check with everyone. Nobody wants to come with him
Go with him on what?
to go talk to the director of innovations.
That'd be a bad idea for
Stevie
me.
and
So
Nick just kind of look at each other like, we're still wanted, Koopa.
You could
Oh.
transform into an hour and have his back, or transform into an animal and have his back. But it's understandable if you don't want to. Ra has the utmost confidence in himself as a solo agent, so even if I might not. It's either
Alright,
that or helping
then.
Artemis with the demolition.
yeah. Again, I just got back a few minutes ago, so
No problem.
I'm kind of not sure what's going. Okay. Do I have anything I could cast to help Ra with whatever he's doing? No, I don't think so.
No problem.
Well, stay safe then.
Ron nods. Just FYI, it's the next day, so we've benefited from a long rest.
Oh!
Ron
Oh, this
Myth,
is a...
yeah, Ron Myth did their morning prayers at 5. Raj's Zone of Truth to Lewitz, and figured out that Lewitz is very, very unlikely to be a plant, and almost everyone around is loyal to Surge. Also, he did a real damn good job at making his raw portrait.
Okay, I'm going to... I'm going to... Would it be... Hey, would it be possible for me to use this when I'm... At the start of that long rest?
Hearth of Moon at 6th level, be wherever you are. You can invoke the shadow power of the gloomy court.
Is he turning into a robot for anyone else?
Yeah, you're cutting out.
Mr. Robot.
Okay. Am I still roboting?
Keep talking.
Am I still roboting? Am I still roboting?
Nope, you're good.
Am I?
Nope.
Okay. Hearth of Moonlight and Shadows. At 6th level, home can be wherever you are during a short long rest. You can invoke the shadowy glowing court
You're
is
still
Feywild.
roboting.
You can invoke the power of the... Am I roboting now?
Yeah.
Little bit.
Try rejoining.
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big stinky.
Oof.
It keeps bouncing between low and high quality.
Oh.
It sounds like you're good now.
We'll
I
see how long that-
think we all read it. At 6th level, home can be wherever you are, etc., etc. We get a +5 bonus to stealth checks and perception checks, and any light from open flames in the sphere isn't visible outside of it. Yeah, the glowing court is Feywild.
Mm-hmm.
Help your respite. At the start of rest, touch point in space, an invisible 30 sphere of magic appears centered at the total cover blocks the sphere. While you're in the sphere, you and your allies gain a 5 plus dexterity, stealth, and wisdom, perception. Any light from the open flames in the sphere, campfire, isn't visible. Sphere advantage. Alright, so when you cast the sphere, Myth, you get a kind of pinging sense, a sort of nostalgia. And it feels much like being around Inari's home.
Alright, so at the start of it, you like when you cast this for the first time, you just see her kind of like sag a little, and then she kind of turns around looking up to the sky.
So since it's up during the rest, I'm going to say when Myth and Ra were doing their morning prayers, he's going to do a little bit of a dedication to Inari during his.
Yeah, she misses him alright. Okay, by the way, how much stone did I see around this entire place?
Stone?
Yeah. Around the, city.
Well, there's, brickwork that is basically built into, the buildings and such.
The
There's...
roads are all stone,
Roads are stone.
so a lot.
So a lot. And it all seems relatively new. Probably built around the time that Arngale was basically settled as a city.
Take down. Okay, and then what other? All right, I see. Thank you. And let's see. I'm helping Artemis with demolition, right?
I think that was what you and TP were going to do.
Myth, was this your first time casting,
Hearth of Moonlight and Shadows?
Yep.
Yeah. That was your first time casting it?
Yep.
Alright.
Okay.
Yeah, you do get the familiar sense of the Feywilds. And maybe, just maybe, give me an Arcana or Perception check.
Or perception.
Or, yeah, perception or arcana, whichever you feel is
Okay.
more fitting.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
Whoa.
So as you kind of close your eyes within the sphere, it's very faint, but you do sense the presence of Inari in some form or fashion here. You don't sense a physical manifestation of him, but you definitely sense his energy within the sphere somewhere.
I kind of whisper. I kind of drowsily whisper good night, Inari. Good night, Inari. All right. So hold metal. I mean, hold metal, heat metal, and what was the other one I had my eyes on for this little demolition project? Right.
All right. So Ra's gonna be taking the street of Lewitz. What does everyone else do? I know that Myth's setting up her spells and stuff. What does Armis and T?
So while everyone's getting ready, Artemis is gonna put a hand on the book. Just gonna say, so, scale of 1 to 10, how accurate was that?
Is she talking?
She's talking to the book, yes.
Yep. There's a pause, and then you hear just the low baritone voice of the book speak. Looking for validation?
I don't know, just in the absence of someone who's met him face to face, I got the impression that you're a little more familiar with him than I am.
Perhaps exaggerated, but it does hold a sliver of truth in the visage.
That's dire.
But no doubt, you will have a meeting with the so-called deity in the proverbial flesh. Or has your aim changed since?
Well, that depends. How'd the other me handle it?
There's kind of just a low rumbling chuckle. Just oh, but if I would told you that, that would ruin the fun.
So the other me did run into these gods then. Fantastic. Entwined in the strings of destiny, is it?
Believe what you wish. I am here to observe.
And pass silent judgment in the back of my hand, apparently.
small price to pay for my power, I'm sure.
I suppose there's a certain irony to the powers you gave me being used to perpetuate belief in them.
It was a good show. I'll give you that one. Very amusing.
Yes, well, my father used to use illusions for such things. Not quite on the same scale, but close enough.
Quite so.
And she's going to break contact on that, and she's going to unfurl the map of the dynamos, and she is going to find one, not the nearest one to the Adventurers Guild, a fair distance away.
All right.
Actually,
So,
the market. She's going to start at the market.
all right. Yeah. So that one's kind of like somewhere in the midst of the market district.
Good thing we got the shopping done.
Yeah.
Oh wait, how many spells do I have? Did I prep? Okay. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Can I flashback?
What do you want a flashback?
So as Ra and Lewis are leaving, can Ra stop by the, like they're going up through the Adventurers Guild, right?
Yep.
He's gonna go up to the counter to Jarvie and sort of wave him over.
Jarvie is polishing out a short glass, which he plants down on the table, steps away from it, and kind of like looks at the both of you. Like, not gonna go out and make trouble now, I hope.
Of course not. I was wondering if, well, I'm planning on paying a visit to the Director of Innovations. You don't happen to have any potential referrals that could help me towards that, would you?
He, very vividly perks one of his bushy eyebrows. Kind of considers you a moment, and he says, "Lad, I don't thrive in the city by poking my nose in the matter of, high house business. And kind of just sort of racks his brain thinking about a possible inn you might have.
Ra's going to give a description in the name of the noblewoman that he painted the portrait for.
Speaking of, did you give her the Arjun portrait?
Yeah. In fact, he's going to give her the original one.
Have they already drawn one?
Oh yeah, no. He's made it a habit of drawing the people important to him, and Arjul was his mentor. You can see that there's probably some signs of maybe some cuts in the page. Some tears
Wait,
around
I
the
thought he
edges.
was making a picture of Argion.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Arjul.
No, the Warrior of Darkness.
Yeah. No. He's gonna give her the original of Argion as well.
Fine.
Except, yeah, I'll just give her the original.
All right, so you described the noble lady that you painted the portrait of.
Yeah.
He kind of like sort of just that kind of gives his brain a bit of pondering. I think you're describing Lady Almnade. She's married to one.
Lord.
Farquaad?
No.
Lord.
Somebody wants to.
Lord.
Sparkles.
Lord Farkaplier.
Oh my god.
E.
Sparkle fingers.
How?
Deep fried E.
How dare you?
Ferdinand?
I'm sorry I'm forcing you to make up so much shit this
Ferdinand
session, by the way,
Von Eyre.
Robert. Asking around for all this info. Poking my nose where it don't belong. I know the pain.
Trying to think of a good not human name.
What is he?
He's a human. But I don't want something as dumb and plain as Bill.
Francois.
Lawrence.
Michelangelo.
I know.
We'll go through all the turtles.
Okay, so you want alright. So he says, so Lady Almnade, she's married to one Lord Larod Almnade. Larod, I believe, he oversees one of the production facilities for the Guild of Innovations.
Sounds like an in to me. Thank you kindly, Jarvie. And he's gonna give him a 10 gil tip.
He just kind of gives you a slanted grin, which is mostly more mustache than lips. As he takes the tip from you, gives you a nod. You behave now, both of you.
Wait, who's he going with? He's going with DP?
No, he's going with Lewitz.
Oh, okay.
Lewitz also kind of gives him a nod. He's like, oh yeah, always. What do you take me for? So you guys head out, you hit the streets, and you have a name to ask after somewhere.
Yep, so I'm gonna go up into the Noble District. After Lewitz conceivably drops me off there, but I want to do that after swinging by the Warehouse District to see what sort of accommodations they've made around the warehouse we just ditched.
Right.
What's going on over there?
So you have a few police that have reconvened now that Ramu's kind of like just up and taken leave. The warehouse is actually being thoroughly investigated for the most part. You have officers are coming in and out of the place.
Can I just, like, from the alleyway, do another tremor thaumaturge?
Are you stealthing?
Nah, I'm not gonna risk it. Never mind. It's not worth it.
Alright. Lewitz reaches up and he kind of clasps a hand down on your shoulder. He's like, yeah, we should keep back. If any luck, the illusion magics on our side of the door should hold up. They won't see anything but a tunnel cave in. They keep going down that tunnel.
Ooh. You guys cover your tracks pretty well then.
Yeah, put up that ward myself.
He eyes Lewitz curiously. What else can you do?
Well,
Apparently not steal from a lady with 22 perception. Sorry. I'll leave.
hey.
Yeah. No. I honestly don't blame him. I just like wanted to make him do.
Well, You know, Brother Surge has his talent comes from you know, his whole religious circle and all that. He's, you know, cleric work and all that. Mine's a little bit more, and he kind of brings his fingers together and like little bits of stag jump between them. I got the more natural side of magics. They're kind of freaky like that. I was born with this.
Oh, huh. Cool.
And he kind of like clenches his fingers and opens them again.
I'm not impressed. I can do that too.
you're a warlock
Uh,
right now.
Ra's gonna like make a little fire pen in his hand and do that really annoying thing where he spins it around his fingers. That looks really cool. And then he's gonna dissipate it using his elemental affinity.
Yeah, kind of like that. But you know, I'm not.
Yeah, I know.
Right. So, you know, common word for it is sorcery. But
I've spent my fair share of time around them. The right ones can be a nice bunch. The wrong ones, a little more grating, but you get used to them after a while.
right, but I'm still kind of learning about the whole magic thing. I've been studying pretty hard on my spare time. Anyway, we're going up to the Noble District.
Yep, so, after they get up there, Ra's gonna ask around. He's gonna just kind of pull aside somebody walking around, I guess, or he's gonna look at any faceplates on fences for an Omnade family.
Alright, so the first two people you stop kind of just brush you off because they don't want to have anything to do with like some outsider. But the third person that you two run into seems amicable enough.
You wouldn't happen to be acquainted with Lord Larod Omnade, would you?
Yes, I'm a house servant at their estate.
The other day, I penned a portrait for Lord Omnade's wife. And I was wondering if maybe I could seek an audience with them regarding some rather sensitive matters.
Is there something wrong with the painting?
Ross shakes his head. No,
It only has 24 hours to live.
it's related to my profession, actually. And he takes out his Shadow Hunter badge. You see, I'm actually here on a bit of an errand, and it relates to the city's power system. I'm led to believe that Larod Omnade has a seat in the House of Innovations.
Right, he oversees one of the major production facilities.
Right.
But I don't understand what this has to do with the Shadowhunter business.
Well, Shadow Hunters are definitely a vocation that seeks to do a lot of sealing away and expungement of certain entities. And regardless of any opinions on the matter, Ardengale seems to have a certain methodology that they're employing for this sorts of electricity, and I'm curious as to see if I can potentially extract any parallel fundamentals towards, you know, what I do.
Kind of gives you a moment to he kind of gives you a moment of due consideration, looking up and down. He won't pretend that he understands the nuances of it, but
Ra's just shitting out jargon anyways, so.
So he's like, I see. I can deliver a message, but getting an audience with the Lord is, well, it's a little bit more involved.
You say more involved. Um,
You
what's
see more. I see fetch quest.
what sorts of things would that entail? Something to do to get in his good graces, or?
Well, as you understand, he is not the sort who has the time to trouble himself with people all willy-nilly. It usually someone has to come to him with a matter of great import for him to take into consideration any due audience.
Well, just I was gonna hold off on this, but this isn't actually the first I'm hearing of this system of containment. I'm actually brought here because I want to cross-examine. I've been working on a little something myself, and if what I'm led to believe is true, there's been a little bit of an incident down in the warehouse district that maybe compromises the assumed airtightness of the mechanisms that Arden Gale uses, and maybe if I can perhaps provide some insights, then such things won't occur again.
It's been right. That's been the talk of the town. Of course, you ask the newspaper, they'll deny the matter. Seems like the police want to keep things on a pretty tight lid. Keep pretty tight lid on things right now, but you know.
So I suppose it all depends. Is that a matter of great importance, do you think?
What exactly do you know of what happened?
Roth thumbs his chin, folds his other arm across his torso. Well, just from the talk of the warehouse workers, it seemed there was a giant manifestation of the so-called deity Ramu that appeared, intoned some such nonsense about penitence and blasphemy and exacting vengeance upon the police force and the citizens of this fine city before, well, depositing a frankly greater than mortal display of magic. I was able to get a word in with the police captain on his retreat. I've been following this quite closely, you see.
I did not think that a shadow hunter would take close interest in such affairs, but I suppose it's only fair. It's not every day a god just pops out of nowhere.
Nor is it every day a shadow hunter will ascend to this flying city to seek better means for his own vocation. I take my job very seriously.
Right, of course. I don't mean to doubt you at all. All of this is rather unprecedented. He kind of looks at Lewitz next.
Oh, he's still around? I assumed he was like off in the distance somewhere.
Lewitz is kind of hanging back a few feet. He's kind of just rubbing the back of his head and just sort of looking around. He's not really interfering with your talk with people. But he does look at Lewitz and he's like, "What about that boy? Is he with you?"
I just needed some refresher on directions up here, that's all.
Right. Well, seeing as you sketched a picture for our fair lady, Lady Almed, I suppose I could speak a word with her, and by proxy, perhaps she could turn his ear. What do you think?
I think that suits me just fine.
Is there anything in particular you'd like me to convey to her?
Well, is there anything you need clarified on why I feel that it's necessary that I talk to her husband?
Oh no, you wanna borrow knowledge from Ardengale to refine the Shadowhunter art, and well, it might be a good business venture should our Lord deign to consider it and give it its fair due. But such things are out of my hands, understand. I'm something of the help. Well, if that'll be all, I guess I'll be off.
If you could, contact me with the results by telegram.
And what name would I be giving that out to?
That would be a Jarvie.
Of course, Shadowhunter Jarvie. Name is familiar. And he kind of looks down and he sort of squints. Can't really place why, but
I actually ran into the innkeeper at the Adventurers Guild. Seems he has the same one.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, big old mutton chops, nice bushy mustache. Jolly old
Right.
fellow. And what about you? What's your name?
You know what? I'm running out of fucking names, so I'm just gonna call him Paul.
Sure.
Rog gives him a little bit of a bow and he says, "It has been a great pleasure, Paul. Thank you for considering me, at the very least."
So Lewis is kind of still restless here, and he's kind of looking around, and he waits for you to finish your conversation. He's like, we gotta be here much longer? This isn't exactly my scene.
Ra's gonna walk over to Lewis. He's gonna say, I wasn't really expecting you to stay here the whole time. I'm actually gonna head over to the gardens. You can finish your rounds alone.
Alright, see you back at the hideout then.
Good luck. Stay safe.
Yep.
And Ra's gonna head over to the gardens with the intent to go to the Feywilds.
Alright. So you find a nice, quiet location among the gardens. There's a nice little water fountain, a nice little gated patch of flowers and the like. You find a good place to just sort of sit and meditate. How long do you want to spend? Do you want to spend on this?
I'm gonna sit there until I feel invited or somebody stops me.
Alright. So,
Multiple hours, if that's what it takes.
Jeez.
alright, so you kind of meditate. Give me an Arcana check.
Is this related to is this related to, where is it? Oh, here it is. Is it related to skill checks regarding extraplanar energies?
Yes.
Then by virtue of planar sense, I have advantage.
Nice.
Yeet.
Alright. So, it's faint, but you kind of feel it ambient in the air.
I guess reminiscent of his last visit, Ra's gonna knock on the dirt the same way he knocked on the hardwood floor.
Alright. You do that, and you feel a shift in the ground. And you feel kind of like a sort of pull, like not a harsh or gentle tug, or not harsh tug, but a more just very gentle gravitation towards a certain garden patch, and it has like kind of like a round sort of round patch of yellow and purple flowers.
Ra opens his eyes and he looks around. Feywilds?
You're not in the Feywilds, but you do feel a pull towards that patch of flowers.
I go there.
All right, so you step towards there. As you do, you start to feel a bit dizzy. Give me a wisdom saving throw. Or don't.
What do you mean, or don't?
Or don't. Do you want to do it or not?
So,
No. I'm gonna intentionally fail.
All right, so you intentionally fail the wisdom saving throw. You feel a sleep overtake you. And when you rouse from your slumber, you're sitting up in Ari's back garden.
Hey! I'm good to stick Ra here and then do other people. I'll just
so
pick up here whenever.
Yep.
just so I have this mental image in my head, has Rob been wearing a collar's horn this entire time?
I mean,
Has he been walking around this town with like a giant horn in his head? this entire
how
time?
big is the collar's horn, Robert? I've just been imagining it as something like he just slings over his waist and keeps underneath the big folds of his shadow underclothes.
You don't have to wear it. You can if you want, but you don't have to wear it. You just have to carry it on you.
Do you know how big it is?
About as big as the original Xbox controller.
Alright, yeah, that's about what I was imagining. So, there's your answer, Stuart.
You find just Ra walking around with a dong on his head.
Alright, so Operation Oceans 3.
So yeah, Ra takes a nap in the gardens.
And Artemis, Teepee, and Myth unsync and run the Praetorium as a 3-man.
Okay. I don't know anything. I don't know anything
Sid
about
just
that.
does
but
a lot of demolition shit in the Praetorium, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Nero and Gaius talk forever. Yeah.
Yep.
Creeping mendacity.
All right. Over to courtyard view.
So, in preparation to go outside, Artemis is going to don her latest disguise. She's going to figure the shadow hunter guys has been sold because she used that to break into police station and rescue the bird. So she is going for
Arjun?
no, not yet. Let's say she's looking like a Shire woman. Obviously with ice affinity.
Alright, so you kind of doll yourself up to look like that. You get some blue veins running along your skin. Or, you know,
Blue
those-
veins.
The tattoos.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
tattoos.
So,
Yeah, you do a pretty good job. No one's gonna question your appearance at a glance. And you're heading to the market district?
Yep.
so what do we? So, all right. Before she does that, so Autumn, you said you. How should we help you with this?
Well, if you happen to know any lightning aspected spells, it would be a brilliant time to start casting them.
All right. Well, hopefully I make it out there alive. Make it out there safely. Then,
I mean, worst comes to worst, you can just turn into a bird.
Hmm.
Look at me, Muggins here has to walk it back.
All right then.
So,
Hmm.
I'm going to walk up. I'm going to don my second disguise. Then I shall summon Ramu, cause a little bit of chaos, dissipate him into the ether, and we'll see what results from there.
So you head up to the mercantile district where all the shops and stuff are.
Oh,
You
that
know,
reminds me. Katipi,
Goodbye.
there isn't a hummingbird within 1,000 miles of this place. You dolt.
Oh yeah,
Well,
speaking of which,
hummingbirds are small and tiny.
I
You
guess
know how
I'll.
hard it is to hit a hummingbird?
Hear how obviously out of season they look?
Noted.
But anyway, you set out, and you can see a lot of common birds. Mostly ones that are known to migrate often, seagulls and the like.
Seagulls?
Pigeons,
Okay,
seagulls.
pigeons make sense. Pigeons
Yeah.
are city bird. Pigeons are nice city birds. Sorry. Oh.
Yeah, I'd say more pigeons than anything up here.
Alright, pigeons.
Probably get
But-
condors at this altitude, right?
Maybe a few. But deep forest birds, you're probably not going to see, like owls and such. You're probably not going to see.
Makes sense. Alright,
Anyway. So, you arrive at the market district and you find that there's... The patrols have sort of stepped up since yesterday. And... You'll find that as you arrive, you find a group of people surrounding one of the officers, and they're asking a few questions about what happened down at the warehouse. And the officer seems like he's trying to like kind of keep a lid on things. He's pretty like you hear him say, "I assure you, whatever you've heard, we are going down to the bottom of it. We are much investigating the truth of the matter. You need not worry that."
Who said that?
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
I said pass without a trace.
I heard someone say weird or something like that.
Anyway,
Moving on.
yeah. So there's concerned citizens about asking with this nearby police officer what the heck, and he's just basically like, yeah, don't worry about it. We're looking into the matter. You also see, you know, there's a few more officers on patrol than usual. Or at least seems like the city's on high alert, with good reason. That said, the shops are still open. People are cautiously going about their day, even though the big talk on the town is what happened yesterday. How the police were driven back by, you know, basically a god.
So Artemis is keeping all of this in mind as she's going.
It's definitely aroused some superstition. So is there any place that you want to go to first, or are you going to hang straight to the power station?
Let's check out the power station first, see what its situation is.
Situation is you have 2 guards out front and probably more within the station itself. It looks like a pretty tall tower, like a lot of cables connected to it. It's also gated off, so you can't just walk in. There's a lot of blinking lights everywhere sticking around it. But I emphasize, it seems pretty heavily guarded right now.
Great. Okay.
In fact, guards are keeping close on anybody who gets anywhere remotely close.
Really making us work for this.
Are there any relatively elevated buildings nearby?
Elevated how? Like taller than the tower?
Not taller than the tower, just with a commanding view.
So a lot of the shops are kind of lined up next to each other, kind of like, sort of someone in the same building, just like a bunch of storefronts. Thinking. Nothing particularly exuberant near the tower, but does look like a bit of navigation. You could probably get onto the top of these roofs. They're not like sloped. Like you'd have a hard time standing up there. They're actually pretty flat.
Yeah, let's do that. So,
Alright, so how are you going to go about getting up there? Because
we are going to... Are there any, whatever the medieval equivalent of a fire escape is?
You like how I just threw him into wind chimes? Like, fuck yeah, there's fire escapes. These people aren't barbarians.
So you imagine if there were, they'd be in the back alleyway, and you do just that. You tuck in the back alleyway, and they're narrow, but there's definitely a ladder.
Great.
Like they have to knock down some point to release locks on them. But
Doma already got to Mr. Roboto again.
Great.
Oh, no.
So, in that scenario, then what Artemis will do is she's going to see if she can use Mage Hand to pull the ladder down.
Alright, yeah. So you fondle around with your mage hand up there, you find a latch, you feel the latch like within the confines of your mind, and it goes dropping. You have to look around to make sure no one's peeking in on you as you're doing this. Doesn't seem like anyone is. But you have access to the fire escape, and you could probably reasonably use that to get up to the roof.
Okay, so that's what Artemis is going to do. Does look like all of the guard? Did it look like all the guards for the dynamo were situated at the bottom?
The ones that you could see were stationed outside the front gate into the dynamo complex, which is
Great.
pretty heavily guarded right now. So you guys make your way up to the roof. You get to the lip of it. Duck down on this to not say, "Hey, look at us, we're on a roof," right?
Or sailors on the roof. No.
Whalers on the moon, we carry up. Okay.
So,
How
yeah.
high is this tower? Because I'm going to have to be able to aim it. How high is this tower? Because I'm assuming, like, are we standing at the bottom of the tower looking up as Artemis climbs, or?
So you're not
Or-
climbing a tower. You're climbing up a roof that's going to be in a relative proximity to the tower. Tower itself is about 3 stories high.
Okay.
Means
there is
about
a
40 feet.
There is a massive cable connecting her to. It's like just basically this huge rail line suspended, connecting it to basically the highest district in the city, where the temple is. The cable also kind of just runs with the gentle energy. And the lights about the tower at all hours of the day are kind of just slowly thrumming on and off. You get a good view of it. There's another guard near the apex of the tower. So this one doesn't.
So are we talking like a lighthouse here? It's like a big, tall, relatively thin tower.
It's kind of wider near the base, and it gets smaller near the tip. It's like one of those, you know,
It's like a Tesla coil.
Steeple? Is the word you're looking for steeple?
Yeah, something like that.
it's like one of those pyramid-shaped towers that you see out in like out in the middle of nowhere, that carry power lines. But
Oh. Okay.
this one has like a lot more mechanical stuff going on inside of it. There's like shifting pistons and stuff. There's rotating gears. And somewhere near the top, you can get a good sense of the dynamo core, the one that channels and regulates the power to the other power couplings, the cables that go towards the different little nodes throughout this district.
Great. So, as Artemis gets up there, she looks at TP and Myth, and she says, "Right, now, I'm going to gauge my disguise. I am going to manifest Ramu this time. Top the tower, or as high up as I can get. Have him manifest there, and then this time I will strike the tower with lightning bolt. We'll see what that does to it. In the meantime, if you summon lightning around the general area,
Alright then.
And then prepare to book it.
I'll be. Then. Well, if you're going up high, I suppose it'd be better for me to go with you. At least it would be
We are
less.
we are already on the roof of.
Oh, okay, never mind. Alright then. So, anything in particular we'd have to strike, or only anything else in particular we should keep our eyes out for?
I should also note that the tower is about a block or so away from your current position.
What, like 100 feet?
Yeah.
Right. Major image has 120.
Cool.
And it's a 20-foot cube, so Artemis is going to look at the two of them and she's going to say, well, they are essentially doing their jobs as near as I can tell, so avoid killing them, perhaps. You just want to scare the crap out of them.
Of course.
And break the stuff.
And break this stuff.
This is a pretty good place to stop, right?
Oh,
so you
yeah,
get-
definitely seemed like it.
Right
So
before
you
the
get,
boom.
Yeah, you get nice and ready to do a little bit of eco-terrorism.
Right before, right. Oh wait, right. Right
Ain't
before.
no stopping this train we getting on.
Yep.
Thank
Right
you,
as-
Stuart.
Oh, good gosh. So I'm just okay. So first of all, I'm gonna have. So right before Ramu appears, I want to cast Thunder Wave.
All right. Well, make a note of that for next time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Thunder
okay.
Wave is a cube that starts itself.
Oh,
Yeah, it centers around yourself.
dang it.
But if you make it loud enough, it will sound like a bolt of thunder.
That's true. Good session,
mean,
guys. I'm in the recording.
Okay.